luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
In a shocking and unusual turn according to the lawsuit, Chinese manufacturers have allegedly retaliated against Hermès with a countersuit that is already rocking the world of luxury fashion. These manufacturers are not only disputing allegations of counterfeiting, but also changing the course of events and making damaging claims of their own. Although Hermès proudly stamps "Made in France" on its coveted Birkin and Kelly bags, the manufacturers claimed that a sizable portion of the production, from stitching to assembly, has actually been taking place covertly in Chinese factories. Let that sink in. For decades, customers have paid over $10,000 for Hermès, the iconic French brand synonymous with status and exclusivity, $20,000 to $100,000, maybe more, for the distinction of French craftsmanship.
Almost finished bags from China factories, back to their own factories, and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that.
The Chinese supplier behind product. Bags are from Siton Handbag in Dongguan City, Guangdong Province. It's a factory specializing in handbags for 54 years, and it produces 80% of the world luxury bags.
But the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
So Hermès has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
Spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Started making his boots in China, and that is these boots right here. This is pretty much the UGG boot that like most Americans will have in their house. I was very pissed off when I found out the truth because I grew up in Southern California. I remember being in elementary school when I would only see 2 people in the entire school wearing UGG boots, and they were always the cool surfer kids.
Those bags I cut open, just expensive, nothing special. But it feels truly exceptional.
Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very, very good.
Some of Hermès products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
It was my first time shopping at Hermès, and let me tell you how it went.
We got a lot of requests, do Hermès next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
In Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to made in.
In the Hermès, they say, I want to buy one of these. You know what they say to you? No, we don't have them. First of all, you have to be an Hermès customers. You have to demonstrate that you like the brand. And then you can only buy one per year.
I've been speaking to this client here regarding selling her Birkin 30 Gris Etane, if I'm not wrong. Gris Etane is the color, and it's palladium hardware. The bag is in box fresh condition, but it's Y stamp, which means it's a 2021.
Hermès has built its empire on heritage authenticity and the mystique of Parisian artisans. So to now be confronted with the shocking accusation that some of their treasured goods may not even be French at all is a stomach shot to everything. The countersuit alleges that Hermès' actions amount to nothing less than consumer fraud, painting a picture of a company that profited covertly from cheaper offshore labor, while capitalizing on romanticized French imagery. If proven true, this calls into question not only Hermès' reputation, but also the foundation of the modern luxury industry, because if Hermès, the gold standard of exclusivity, actually cut corners and misled customers, the stakes couldn't be higher for Hermès. For Hermès, the goal isn't just about winning a lawsuit anymore. It's about maintaining the illusion that justifies their exorbitant price tags. And for customers, it's about realizing that the dream they were sold may have been nothing more than a carefully packaged lie. When Hermès first went on the attack and filed a high-profile lawsuit against a group of Chinese manufacturers, claiming that these manufacturers were oversupplying the market with fake replicas of the holy grail of luxury handbags, the battle burst into the public eye. For a brief moment, it appeared as though Hermès would be the obvious victim, rallying public sympathy behind them. But the accused manufacturers went all out and filed a countersuit that turned the entire story on its head. Their retaliation wasn't just about clearing their names. It was about exposing what they claim is a much bigger fraud. The Birkin Hermès claimed that these fakes threaten not just their brand's image, but the entire mystique that surrounds a product. Many people wait years on a list to even be considered, because they painted themselves as the noble protector of artistic craftsmanship and exclusivity. These manufacturers contend that although Hermès publicly denounced Chinese manufacturing, they were secretly depending on it. They say Hermès used Chinese labor for crucial aspects of bag production, such as stitching, cutting, and assembly, before sending the bags back to France for finishing touches and that coveted Made in France label. Hermès has been covertly outsourcing large portions of its production to Chinese factories for years, while still brazenly marketing its products as painstakingly handmade in France. The explosive counter claimed that Hermès was not only defending themselves against counterfeits, but also against accusations that they were no different from the very people they were accusing, making money off of the same supply chains they professed to detest. Even worse, they were allegedly passing off outsourced labor as authentic European craftsmanship to a market willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for the privilege. The manufacturers contend that Hermès' entire branding strategy is based on the crucial lie that their products are lovingly crafted by elite artisans in France. But in reality, they claim that these iconic bags are frequently assembled, stitched, and even partially manufactured in Chinese factories thousands of miles away, far from the cobblestone streets of Paris. Hermès' alleged deception goes beyond a simple marketing ploy. Rather, it strikes at the very heart of international commerce. The brand loves to romanticize this by saying that it is a flagrant breach of international trade laws that are meant to safeguard honest business practices and fair competition, in addition to being a betrayal of customer confidence. Countries all over the world have stringent labeling laws that require you to disclose on the label if a sizable amount of a product's manufacturing takes place outside the nation. It is alleged that Hermès purposefully circumvented these laws, enabling them to place a Made in France tag on bags that were at least partially made abroad. Here's why it matters. The story and the dream that your Birkin was crafted by the most talented French artisans in a historic atelier steeped in centuries of tradition are what truly make a Hermès bag worth $20,000. Without it, the romance would be lost. The value of a Hermès bag is not just in the leather or the stitches, because they are purportedly concealing the real origins of their bags. It is just another upscale bag that is no more genuine than anything else on a crowded shelf. Hermès destroyed the fair playing field in addition to deceiving customers. Rival companies who might have been more forthright about outsourcing were unable to match Hermès' fabled story of 100% French craftsmanship. The producers contend that Hermès obtained an unfair competitive edge by charging full price for a fantasy while making back-end cost reductions. This legal battle did more than just shake Hermès' mess. It shattered the illusion that the entire luxury market depends on. Overnight, whispers turned into roars as both consumers and industry insiders were forced to confront the uncomfortable question of how much luxury is real and how much is just smoke and mirrors. If proven true, it's a brutal accusation that Hermès could be guilty of not only misleading millions of customers, but also of fundamentally altering the luxury market by building a global empire on what these manufacturers now refer to as a carefully constructed illusion. The lawsuit against Hermès opened a vault of suspicion that had been simmering for years. If the most prestigious company, which was heralded as the last defender of genuine craftsmanship, was allegedly distorting the truth about its products, what did that mean for the rest of the luxury market? Was it all just clever marketing masquerading as traditional customers who used to take pride in owning a Birkin now felt something else creeping in doubt? The very basis of what made these products desirable, the trust, the heritage, and their exclusivity, was under siege, and forums erupted in indictment. Even luxury resale shops began subtly re-evaluating how they verified the origin tales of the products they sold, and the risk for Hermès to be disastrous, as TikTok producers who had previously flaunted their bags were now posting videos wondering if they had been conned. If a court finds that Hermès purposefully misrepresented the country of origin of its goods, the company might be facing severe financial consequences rather than merely small fines or a smack on the wrist. Hermès isn't just selling leather and thread, they're selling a myth, a centuries-old story of French privilege and artistic ability. And what's worse than all of that is the complete collapse of their brand's reputation. The fallout could be severe, with sales plummeting, stock prices plunging, worldwide boycotts, and the permanent stain of scandal that no amount of rebranding could ever erase. It wouldn't stop with Hermès, either, because if one luxury titan goes down, it sets a terrifying precedent that could pull other brands with dubious manufacturing practices into the spotlight and force them to reveal just how luxurious their supply chains are. The entire industry, which is built on a shimmering illusion of perfection, could collapse like a house of cards. The public's response has been prompt and harsh. The prospect that their pricey items might not be as truly French as represented deceives many customers, and industry experts are considering the moral ramifications of outsourcing production while preserving the appearance of fine craftsmanship. Lawfully, the case centers on whether Hermès has purposefully misled customers about the origins of its products and whether its labeling practices amount to fraud. The verdict could have far-reaching repercussions, possibly resulting in stronger laws governing product labeling and increased transparency standards for luxury brands outside of the courtroom. This action calls into question the concept of authenticity in the luxury apparel sector. If a high-end company like Hermès is discovered to have misrepresented its goods, consumer confidence may be damaged, and the definition of true luxury may need to be re-examined. Finally, as the legal proceedings progress, the fashion industry closely monitors the case because it could redefine standards and expectations for luxury goods globally. The countersuit brought by Chinese manufacturers against Hermès not only reveals possible irregularities in the brand's practices, but also sparks a larger discussion about authenticity and transparency in the luxury market.